be done if the condition is true. But for if else, we have a task to be done if the condition is true, and another one to be done if the condition is false. Let us see how it works. So let us save it as if else dot php. Then x equals 30 if x equals modulus 2 equals 0, echo the number is even, s echo the number is odd. So you see here we are having two tasks. The first task is to display the first message, the number is even. The second task is to display the message, the number is odd. But two messages cannot be displayed at the same time. The two messages cannot come into the output. Only one will come. How to choose the message to display? It depends on the condition. Okay? Is x modulus 2 equals 0? So if x modulus 2 equals 0, the first message will be displayed. Otherwise, the second message will be displayed. Let us run it and see. If s so the number is even, the first message is coming. So you can see this is the output because 30 is even. Yes, 30 modulus 2 equals 0. The modulus produce the remainder. Okay, the remainder. What remains after division? If we take that divided by 2, we get 15, and the remainder is 0. So if the remainder is 0, 0 is put into x modulus 2 equals 0 because the modulus produced the remainder. So in that case, the number is even. The first message will be displayed, and the second will be ignored. If else if for this one, we have seen that for if only, for if it tests one condition and it executes its calls if the condition is true. The second, if else, it has two tasks in one condition. It checks that condition. If the condition becomes true, it executes the if calls. Okay, because we have if calls which are in if block, and we have else calls which are in else block. Now, codes which are in if block will be executed if the condition is true, and if codes which are in else block will be executed if the condition is false. Now we have if else if. This one, it tests many conditions. It has many conditions to test and many tasks. But only one task will be executed. Which one? The task whose conditions, because all conditions will not become true. Okay, only one condition will be true, and the corresponding task will be executed. Okay, here we have an example of a program which assigns a grade according to student marks. Okay, if marks is less than 33, we shall display fail. Okay, so we check the first condition. It is not true. It means we will not display fail. We check the second. Is the marks greater than 34 and less than 50? Which is not less than 50. it means we cannot display grade D grade. Let us test the third condition. Is the max between 50 and 65? No. Max is any greater than 65. We don't display C grade. We check the next condition. Is the max greater than 55? Yes. And is it less than 80? Yes. It means we shall display the B grade. So if we come to a condition which gives true, we execute the corresponding task, we display the corresponding message, and we stop. We don't continue to check other remaining conditions. That is how it works. Next, the if, it is an if inside another if. Okay. For example, let me write my own example. We need to test if this number is even and positive. Okay. If x is greater than 0, then we shall display even and positive. Like this. It is an if inside another if. Even and positive. It is even and positive. Unexpected what? If S greater than 0. It is even and positive. So if we change the value to a negative, even if modulus 0, modulus 2 equals, even if the first condition is true, codes will not be executed because the next condition is false. Second condition, the inner condition is false, even if the outer condition is true. So this will not be executed because there is one condition which is false. So nothing will be displayed. Because codes in nested if will be executed only if both conditions are true. Both conditions should be true. So PHP switch operate like if else if, because it also examines many conditions and it has many tasks, but only one task will be executed. Okay, a task whose condition becomes true, that task is executed and it stops there. That is, but this one examines the constants, whereas the if examines the condition. This one, it always uses only constants. So loops, as we said before, loops, they are statements which are executed in a repetitive manner. If we have a task to be done in a repetitive manner, we have to use a loop. Okay. Here we are starting from a for loop. Here we are displaying numbers from 1 up to 10. You can see it is simple. Okay, n starts 1 from 1, as long as it is less than or equal to 10, then we are displaying. up to when it becomes greater than 10. We stop when the condition becomes false. Okay, we shall continue to execute the same task as long as the condition is still true. So the condition will become false and we stop. We have also a for each, which is used to traverse an array. Okay, how is it used? We have an array which is having summer, winter, spring, autumn. Then for each season as array, then a course season is, then we display the season. So it is simple. We use for each if we have an array to traverse. Here we have another example which is using a for each. In the second case, so we shall discuss about arrays. This is why we should not delay on these slides. We have an employee. Here in this case, we have an associative array. An associative array, it is a type of array which is having key value pairs. It is using key value pairs. We have a name which is Alexi. A key is name and a value is Alexi. Email, we have an email. A name is, we have a name. So those kind of arrays which have key value pairs as elements of array, they are called associative array. So we traverse them by using also the for each. We have the program. The for each employee as key. Here we have value. We display key and key element. So the while, we have the while, it is the same. We discussed about this loop in JavaScript. We have n which is equal to 1. So as long as n is still less than 10, we display the n, then we increment. So we have the outputs. You can write them in your editors and test how they are executing. We have also do while. For while, the difference, we talked about the difference between while and do while. While checks the condition before, do while if checks the condition after it execute the task first and then test the condition after. So this is why here we are also displaying the 10 numbers from 1 up to 10. We can use a break inside a loop. A break is used to forcibly stop a loop before its natural end. You can see our for loop. It should start from 1 up to 10. But at 5, we are stopping it. We are forcing it to stop. So that is how, that is the use of break. So we are forcing, even if it should display the numbers from 1 up to 10, but we are forcing it to stop at 5. It displays from 1 up to 5, and then we are forcing it to stop. This is so. This break, the break can be used in all kinds of loops, to force loops to stop when a given condition becomes true. So we have continue. For continue, it is used to jump the current iteration, the current state. Okay, it jumps one step. You see. So it is the last slide. Let us show how it works. PHP. Let us save it. PHP cont.php. For I is starting from 1, I as long as it is less than 10, I plus go. hash break. So this one will display the 10 numbers. That we have, it is called count. So count.php. So it is displaying 10 numbers less than or equal. It is displaying 10 numbers from 1 up to 10. But if we need to jump 5, if I equals 5 break, if we use break, we shall display from 1 up to 5. Okay, you can see it. Now, if we use continue, we shall only jump 5, continue. Continue. Test. We can only jump 5. This is how continue works. Okay, thank you. We are ending here. See you next week. Thank you for attending.
Yes.